All right, y'all. So what happens when you get stopped out of a position, right? So one of my mentees said this in the chat. He said, my bad. My guy, let me get it. He said, I entered into a 2-2 reversal at 12:45 a.m. and I was trailing my stop loss off the previous candle's low, right? He entered the trade and then it stopped him out as he was trailing it on this candle right here, and then it continued to keep going. His question was, when you get stopped out of a position on a 3 and it continues to move in that direction, do you get back in the position, or would you just wait for the next actionable signal and time frame continuity? So I'm about to answer that for you, bro, right here in this video, right? So I'm going to pull up the strat cheat sheet real quick. I can use any of these, but I'll just use this one because shout out to my guy Alex for creating this. This is dope. So basically, there is an actionable signal that you can use to re-enter back into this position. Now, do people most of the time use this? Not for the most part, no. But honestly, you definitely should. So this is called the 1-bar rev strat, right? So when price goes 2 down against you, right? So in this case, when he had his trade, right? Price is going, he entered on the 1-2 reversal right here, inside bar, 2 down, 2 up reversal. He entered that, it went 2 up, then it went 2 down, right? And then he was trailing his stop loss at the low of these candles. It stopped him out on the 2-2 reversal against. Then as this candle was still live, it went 2 down, went back up, went green, and then became a 3 in a 5-minute period. So that's how it became a 3. Every single outside bar starts out as a 2. It starts out going one way and then reversing and going the other direction, right? So this right here, this 3 is an actionable signal. So how we trade that, there's 2 ways that you can trade that, and I'm going to show you how to trade it, right? The first way that you trade it is as soon as it goes and starts taking out that low and starts reclaiming it with continuity going back in that direction, you could just enter it at the low of that candle. But a way that I do it personally is I like to use the 50% rule. So shout out to my girl, Share Strat Sniper. So she calls it, it's called like the SSS 50%, right? So all it is when it reclaims 50% of the previous candle, you enter that targeting the other side, looking for it to go outside. So I'll show you what that looks like on the chart right here. So I'm gonna use an example with a inside bar, or just look for a 3. Let me see if I can find a 3 as an example. Give me a second. Okay, here's an example on the 15-minute time frame that I found, right? And this isn't just necessarily a 1-3, but how it works is whenever price takes out the low and then goes and takes out the high, or goes and takes out the high and takes out the low, that is an outside bar. It does not matter the previous candle. The previous candle can be a 1 or a 2. As long as it takes out the low and the high, the definition of an outside bar is it takes out both sides of the previous bar. So this works for both of those, right? As you can see right here, right, we have an inside bar followed by a 2 up, a failed 2 up. We have a 2 up, and then it goes red. We go down at first, so it's 1-2 rev strat at first. Then it goes green, and then it starts to come back through the other way. So how do we take advantage of that and trade that if we're in a position, or we just want to take this to the upside, right? Or find a reason to hold the position or add to it, right? What you'll do is you can get this fib retracement tool on the side, click this, and then I want you to edit it first, right? So the way that I have it set up, I only have it where I have the 50% open, right? So all these other numbers, I don't really care about that. I just care about this. 0.5 is 50%, right? 50 cents, right? That's all I care about, 50% of the previous candle. Make sure that's checked, and then I have it set up where it goes all the way to the right, like kind of extends it out to the right, right? Just have it set up like this. Once you have it set up like that, what I want you to do is from the low to the high of the previous candle, I want you to drag it from the low to the high, or the high to the low, doesn't matter because it's still going to be 50%. If it's looking like this and you want it to kind of extend outward, then what you can do is you can kind of click it, and then you can click extend line to the right, just like that. And as you can see, now this is showing 50% of the previous candle. So now watch this. If this candle goes down, 2 down, then comes back, goes green, and then retraces 50%, boom, I'm going to take this trade right here. As soon as that thing goes 50% of that previous candle, I'm going to enter this thing to the upside. And you can have your stop loss in 2 places, right? You can have it at the low of this candle, the previous candle, or you can have it at the low of the active candle that's reclaiming the range, right? I recommend you do it on the current active candle, but it's up to you, right? So because what happens is if it reclaims this, it should not come back down. It should not go back being a 2. It should just keep going back, stay green, and then stay going 3. And then after that, watch this. I enter this trade here, It goes 3, that's 7.25 points, and then we go 3-2 continuation to the upside. That thing starts running to the upside, and then you catch a 78 point, 81 point, 94 point move to the upside. Boom, just like that, right? But again, the 2 go 3 is an actionable signal. This is called a 50, like that's called a, you're looking for a 50% retracement. So whenever we take out the low and then reclaim, you want it to reclaim 50%. If it reclaims 50%, you can enter that long. And then same thing going to the downside, right? If it takes out the high, this is a 3 right here. Mark out the 50%. You see right here, what does it do? It takes out the high of that previous candle. It starts reclaiming it, goes red, 50% of the candle, boom, play that thing to the downside. Short position right here. Your stop loss would be the high of that candle, which would be right around there. So you're risking about 6 points on that trade. It end up going for, 21 points right there before the new candle flips, goes green, and then starts reversing it. That's why the flip is so important. You pay attention to that, right? So right here, you see what it do. It went down, but then this candle flipped and went green, started negating it, and then it reversed it. This went green, right? It started going that direction. The next candle reconfirmed it by also going green, continuing price in that direction. So you still want to wait for continuity to like keep continuing in that direction. However, this is the actionable signal you can take in order to hold that. So for your trade specifically, what would that look like? So in this case, you would enter on the 1 to 2 reversal, right? It goes 2 up, then it goes 2 down. Okay, cool. If you have more than one contract, take some profits, right? You could take profit on that. And then as it starts to reclaim it, right, and it goes 50% of that previous candle, guess what? You can enter that thing back again, right? So I'll show you an example. That's May 10th. So I'm going to go to that, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like to enter that for the position that you had. Okay, so here's an example, right? If I take this, for example, this 2-2 reversal to the downside, boom. This is going to be my entry right here, and then let's say I have my stop loss right here, right? Next candle opens up, I trail. Right after that, this next candle opens up. It opens up here, comes up, takes out my stop loss right here, right? And it stops me out. Small loss. I think I'm lost. Let's say I have one ES contract. I lost about $75 on that trade, right? Lost $75 on that trade. Then it starts coming back through this previous range, right? I'll now say, all right, bet. If this thing pulls back 50%, so it took out this previous high. If it pulls back 50%, I'm going to re-enter this position to the downside. And then right here, so my stop loss will be right about here, right? And then I will just hold this thing to the downside. And as you can see, it sells off, right? So we have a 2 go 3. That's what it's called. When you ever see price goes 2 go 3, right, and becomes an outside bar, it starts out as a 2, then becomes a 3. And as you can see, we have a 3-2 continuation, followed by an inside bar, continuation, inside bar, and then we get a slight reversal. You can take profit here, add back on a 2-2 reversal, take profit, and then as it reconfirms back to the upside right here, you can just exit a full position and then look to probably re-enter later on. But as you can see, this is just an example. You enter the 2-2 reversal, it pulls back. You can either keep your stop loss wider and then kind of just let it play out a little bit more, give it a wider stop loss. That way, if it pulls back like this, you're good. Or if you want to keep your tight stops, take profit on that, and then as it goes back to the downside, you re-enter this with the 1 bar rev strat actionable signal with the 50%, right? So that's what you can do to take that thing to the next level. That way you don't have to just get stopped out of positions and then not be able to re-enter and then miss out on all of these gains. You can re-enter the position using that actionable signal. So in the beginning, I don't want you like stressing about all these actionable signals and stuff like that. Stick to one, but I want you learning what the other actionable signals are. That way when you see them in the market, even the 1 bar rev strats or even the 3-2 reversals or 3-2 continuations in the market, you can still take them when you see them, right? So I hope this video helps you. Let's get it.